Hi, you guys know me. I'm Courtney, and this is my math review video thing. So one thing that I learned about myself because of math this year was that I don't like to ask questions at all, and that's such an easy thing to do. Like if you don't understand something and you're wanting clarity and you want to ask a question, it's like ask your question. But for me, it was just really hard because every time I wouldn't understand something or I would get mixed up with the concepts or anything, I would think that it's not a big deal. It's something I can catch up on because it's a really stupid question to ask, and I don't really want to ask a dumb question. But I found this year that if you don't ask your question and get clarity when you need it, and you're like trying to build multiple concepts upon one another on top of an unstable foundation, it just doesn't work, and it like mostly ends up just really hurting you more than anything. So yeah, ask questions because it's really important. One mathematical concept that I learned this year that I'll never forget and why. For me, it was turning a radian measure into a degree measure, and vice versa, just because I had to do it so much that it's just drilled into my mind now, and it's something that I could do on the spot if I needed to, which is nice and useful. So one topic that I didn't like as much, and an application for it, for me personally, it was logarithms, because logarithms have never really come naturally to me. In comparison to other concepts or other things, it's just something that I have to work on, like calculating the values and then putting it in a graph and figuring out how you got there. It's just not something that comes easily to me. So I didn't really like learning about them. They're really not my thing. But one thing that I found about logarithms was that it's actually used to calculate sound intensity, which is really nifty. Like it's measured that the sound intensity is measured in decibels, and so when you go from a soft sound to a loud sound, you measure the difference in decibels between the two, and how you do that is through a logarithmic equation, which was pretty nifty. Yeah. And one thing that I liked that we learned this year and its application, I really enjoyed learning about polar coordinates and polar graphs, and I know it's such a simple concept, but it was really nice because it's one of the few concepts that we learned this year that I grasped almost instantaneously. And that's such a great feeling to have, especially when you go home and you do the homework and you can figure out the answer and know how you got there and why it's right. And I really liked being able to do that and determine all of the different things and applications with those. And one application for polar coordinates and graphs would be if you're looking at like a global map or a global spread of a map, and you're trying to determine the position of a point and its distance from other important points. So if you wanted, for instance, to figure out how far away a city in Norway was from the capital of Sweden, for instance, then you could do that using polar graphs and polar coordinates, and that's really nice. So yeah,